welcome into another edition of Your Life Matters with clinical social worker Dr. Beth Plachetka from Safe Harbor Counseling and Dr. Beth Speaks. And Dr. Beth joins us once again on this Monday. Doctor, how are we doing today?
I'm good, Mike. How are you doing?
Not too bad as we work our way to another show and another interesting topic. The title, Imposter Syndrome.
Yes.
Both words are kind of exciting and intriguing.
I like to be intriguing.
Yeah.
I like to bring something to the table. Yeah, so when we talk about imposter syndrome, and I've heard a lot of people say that lately, either the actual words, because they've done a little research themselves, or they say the symptoms of it. Basically, we're talking about people who feel inadequate for the position that they're in, which is very different than, there was the old Peter principle, you rise to the level of your incapability and stay there, This is not the case. This is people who deserve to be where they're at and feel like they shouldn't.
Okay.
It's like when they noticed it's, like it was a Miss America pageant, and when they're little and they think, I could never be that way. Well, then somebody gets there, and then they're like, how could this be me? Because I am not like that, what they think about themselves and what they're experiencing seems very, very different.
A lot of doubt creeping in.
Yes, right. And they feel incompetent. And it could be like a president of a company, it could be a teacher, somebody who graduates from college and gets the job that they want, and they're like, how did this happen?
Could be a radio host, all kinds
It could be, because I want to do what you do. But and then there's always that underlying feeling that somebody's gonna find out. There's a person, I took off her name, but the doctor did some research about imposter syndrome, and up to 82% of people who were interviewed or responded report having thoughts along these lines at some point. Now,
That's
thankfully,
a lot.
Yeah, now it becomes a syndrome when you can't shake it. So basically what it is that you feel a conflict between your own perception and the way others see you. Somebody tells you you're doing a good job, and your response is about being lucky or being in the right place at the right time.
Right.
Not thank you. You don't believe you earned out on your own merits, and you're always afraid of being exposed. So then you start working harder because you think, well, I'm now good, so I'm not going to give up. I don't want to be exposed. And then you still feel like an imposter because you never feel that satisfaction. And it just keeps going. We always think that we're the product of our success rather than we've worked hard. And I think that's one of the things that have contributed to that recently. It's been difficult to teach young people, especially, that it's worth the struggle to learn something. Because when you've gone through the struggle, you recognize that you've earned it. So sometimes they don't feel that level of success that they have earned it. Like they've become a good batter and they have hit a lot of home runs, or they've become a good student, or a good radio host. You learned all the ins and outs. Yes, yeah. So there was a movie one time. It was Aquila and the Bee, and I really appreciate the message that was in the poem. And it's kind of a long poem, so I won't say the whole thing, but it has to do with that our deepest fear is that we are inadequate, but the author corrects it, and he says that's not what it is. The fact is, if we're really good, we got to live up to it, and that's what scares us. And so he says, why would we not be the best we can be? Because those are the gifts we've been given, and we're called to use those gifts. And when we do that, like when we don't play small, when we're not always hiding, everybody who comes in contact with us is inspired to also do those things, to be their very best. So we're supposed to use the gifts, and we can do one of those things. Just one thing that we can change is when somebody says, nice job, say thanks. Quit denying, quit dismissing that you've worked hard to get there or that it's been a journey. Say thanks. I appreciate the response. Own it.
Yeah.
Own it. So I highly recommend looking up that poem, Aquila and the Bee. And I'll put it on the website.
That's right, and that's a good way to remind folks that these topics, first of all, you can hear these shows at safeharboril.com, but more importantly, too, you can get resources, additional resources that maybe we don't always get a chance to reference, or maybe some of the ones we do. They're all there for you, safeharboril.com. And you can also call the folks at Safe Harbor, 630-466-8657 to find out more. Dr. Beth Plachetka and Safe Harbor Counseling also on Facebook. We'll talk to you again at the same time next week for another edition of Your Life Matters with clinical social worker Dr. Beth Plachetka from Safe Harbor Counseling and Dr. Beth Speaks.